Ta-da! We're here. We made it. By the skin of our teeth. Is that what they say? Is it the skin of your pants or the skin of your teeth?
Skin your teeth, but I don't understand. I have to look up what that means because it doesn't. Unless we're talking like before there were toothbrushes and people had gunk.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think we want to have skin on our teeth.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe we're doing better than our ancestors after all.
yeah, maybe.
Guys, it's harvest season and we're feeling it. I don't know how you survived the new moon, but we're going to talk about it tonight on Astrology and Alchemy with Paranormal Sarah and Matthew Slozier. It's been a crazy week.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. The
Crazy
new
week,
moon.
crazy day.
The and I feel like I see it in the social services side of it. I feel like I see it in the mental health side of it and in kind of like the criminal crazy. But you work in like international business, like engineering, creativity, and micromanagement of stuff in the world, in the business world. Do you see it? Do you see shifts?
Yeah, yes. Some
Yeah.
days, again, it depends. But today, I think today was a Pluto thing. Today,
Hmm.
today was definitely a Pluto day.
Today was, and I kind of, for those of you joining me, you know that I'm a Virgo, Virgo, Virgo. I like to be over prepared. And this week really snuck up on me. And especially that Sunday, then we blew up an asteroid in space with a dart and like doing Armageddon stuff, really.
Yeah.
Um, and then today, the 27th, yeah, Mercury retrograde in Virgo with Pluto in Capricorn. And we had shared with you guys last week, this is cooperation for life. We said, your voice is how you enact great change. Do not lose sight of persuasion. Gasoline has been added to the fire, and fighting will make things much worse. Don't rock the boat.
My prediction for the week was that by today, most people would know of a relationship that broke up. I'm curious if anyone does.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Not to mention family drama, squabbles, things in politics. Again, we do make big generalizations in some spaces. They're meant to be big generalizations because they're macro as well as micro. And last week we talked about earthquakes, we talked about hurricanes, we talked about certain particular natural disasters and school shootings that, dare we say, for those of us who joined last week and put in the chat room, there's that. It's not pride. We're not like celebrating accuracy, but more the connection and the awareness, the ability to see things and go, holy cow, I feel this. And then have that come to fruition and be like, huh, okay, how can I use that? You know what I mean? We had a lot of weird stuff come to fruition from last week's show. And for those of you guys in and around Florida, I hope you're safe. Cuba just got wiped out. Their electric grid is gone. The majority of the tobacco industry, from what they provide, gone. Like 3 days ago, it was just a beachy place. I saw it. Now it's not. Now it's gone. I don't know. I've not seen that because, the nothing. But you guys, tomorrow's Wednesday, September 28th, and it's the last Wednesday of this month. How has your life changed? Carson, Rebel, Autumn. What changes are you seeing? Matt, are you seeing like career stuff or family stuff, would you say more?
Oh, I've seen everything. So
He's
yeah,
like, it's everywhere.
today was a banner shitty day. So that's why I said it had to be a Pluto thing.
It had to
It
be a
was big,
Pluto
and
thing.
yeah, it was again, it was big. Don't give a crap shifts.
Ah, and Katie joining us says, well, today's my birthday.
Happy
So
birthday!
happy birthday, Katie. And thank you for joining us on your special day. Birthdays are magical. I always take my children's birthdays, but then my birthday are birthdays. And then I think about how it's a birthday, like, huh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. So you've got quads for people joining us for the first time. You're a dad of quadruplets plus one.
Mm-hmm.
So that to me is just amazing. Mercury retrograde, guys. Yep, for someone joining that, still going on. So communication, a little bit of a struggle. Don't know if you've had any electrical malfunctions, knock on wood. I know I have at work. I do a lot of telehealth work and virtual calls and check-ins, and they haven't been working. So
We had a
let's
random
get
power outage today for like 3 hours.
Did you?
Mhm.
You're on the East Coast.
Mhm.
So we had snow flying in northern Minnesota today. Like fall just gone. It's making me nervous for Halloween costumes, really, because I'm always, there could be snow, there could not be snow. Ugh. So, Bianca, John, all of you guys joining us, wherever in the world, whether it's Odyssey Radio, whether it's the Paranormal Channel, whether it's Autumn Moon Astrology, Facebook, anywhere in the realm. Be sure and share and sign up for notifications. But let's get into the week ahead, because I honestly have not looked ahead because I've been too just responding to the tidal wave that was. But I looked ahead a little bit.
I was, I was kind of
Let's.
hoping today would be like the bottom, and this week would be looking up.
I feel like the waxing of the moon, we are still getting an increase of some energy and probably well into the first week in October. But let's just take it one day at a time, guys. Get out your pens and papers, and feuille de papier, and write with me, write with us, talk with it, write it out, right? What do we got? Wednesday. That's tomorrow. Matt, Mars in Gemini, trine Saturn in Aquarius. Saturn in Aquarius. Okay, so I'm looking at it. When you're looking at that, man, I hate to say that. Well, Mars. What is it?
It's my
He's a dad.
that's just all right. It's weird too. Mars usually moves. I think like it's every like 2 months or so. It's pretty quick, and Mars is in Gemini for like almost a year because it's going to be retrograde for a really long time. So we have Mars, outward action, male energy. Just I view it as it's just action in extroverted Gemini. So very communicative, ruled by Mercury. I always view it too as like the twins at the two faces of like which path do I go. So I feel this is a lot of kind of choosing extroverted energy, trying to like choose between two options, and it's having synergy with Saturn, whose rules and regulations, and Aquarius, which is out of the box, rebel. So I view Saturn and Aquarius as the ability or the opportunity to change the rules. And so I view this as, do I make a big change or don't I? So this is kind of the two paths are, do I follow the traditional kind of how things should go, or do I break things up and kind of change things up and kind of like break the mold and kind of do something different?
Ooh. Which after this big, life shifting and awareness and identity movements in astrology with these big life stretches going on, even in a macro way, I see this in like a nationalist space for countries moving, making decisions. We saw some headlines today out of areas of like, are these going to be threats? Are they not going to be threats? Are we doing this? Are we not doing that? When you say male, extroverted, desire to change, do you change or don't you change? Like, what predictions do you see in this duality space?
I see a huge kind of turning point tomorrow with stuff in Europe. There's been a lot of things over, nukes, no nukes. Are they going to all of a sudden consider the territory they hold like their own country? And so now we'll nuke you unless you get off our lawn. So I feel like that hits a crossroads tomorrow. Oh, that was weird. I had a really weird flicker. Like
I saw that.
Yeah, that was weird. It was very weird.
Doo-doo-doo.
So yeah, so we'll see what happens, and then I see that a lot in kind of the micro as well. I think people are going to be, today was a big shakeup day, and then some people are going to go their usual route, usual response, and then some other people are going to mix things up.
Man, I'm hearing, this might date me a little bit. Don't look back in anger. I heard you say, one of my all-time favorite Oasis tunes. I'm feeling that for Wednesday evening, and I'm wondering kind of what air energy, what's going to be said tomorrow night. What's going to be the headline that jerks people and does that whiplash of the neck, because we're in retrograde. So I know it's going to be like,
The other
oh,
thing
I
that
don't
makes me
know.
nervous is, the predictions for the year. I predicted we'd get sucked into a war in November, and
Right about
it's
now.
looking
It's
more
about that
likely now.
time. Yeah, it's getting close. Too close. Too close for comfort. You know what I mean? Steph, Carson, adding some great points in our live chat room, by the way. Ways to use it individually, some maybe personal obstacles, some sharp silver tongue. So if someone's already popping in your mind when you think of like, oh crap, well, I'm not going to talk about that, like go ahead, start making those predictions, see how it's going to pan out, and just guard yourself well. That's the only thing that's happening on Wednesday. So we don't got to get cray. We can just look forward to Thursday. And the predictive statistics gets easier with each step back. You kind of see the picture for a little bit bigger of what it is. But I'm not going to lie, Matt, and for those of you listening, Thursday, why do I not like this planet and this sign? Venus entering Libra for Libra season. Venus, join the party. Okay. Venus, I always think of vagina. I always think of feminine, introverted, subjective thoughts of beauty and finance and growth and thoughts and feelings and growth and thoughts and feelings. And imagining that cut in half, it's almost like cutting the head off a tapeworm. It's like going to grow two heads. Like that's what I think. But I don't know if that's accurate. That might be really off. What does Venus and Libra mean, Matt?
To me, it's home. Venus rules Libra, so this is like a comfort thing. But Libra likes things nice. Libra's diplomatic. Libra's like, I don't know, stereotypical things on this. It's like the pretty boy or the prom queen type energy here. But I also see this in the romantic space as, because it's diplomatic, this is the person that doesn't necessarily want to be mean, so can actually try to be diplomatic and string the other person along because they want to be diplomatic, and it actually makes things worse down the road. Because Venus is Libra is a cardinal sign, so it drives things, but it drives things indirectly, and it drives things kind of in a passive way. And so I see this as,
Driving Miss Daisy, maybe.
yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. Would you like to go out? And then, yeah, sure. And then always having some kind of like weird excuse thing come up or something, and then just hoping they take the hint, and they don't, and it just gets worse.
Gets worse and worse. Well, since we couldn't finish our last date, I thought we'd plan 3 ahead in case something were to happen again. And you're like, like, this is going to be interesting. Okay. And I think that string is the good word there neurolinguistically. Who's driving where? That's some really good shadow work for that day. Thursday night. Who's driving where? Ooh. And Steph in the chat, I think trying to figure balance in your relationships, balance of the scales. Indeed, like even on our social media today, when we shared a little bit of that Libra movement, the scales is important. But what are you weighing? Is this a Anubis, heart and mind? What's going on? What are we weighing? Or the drive?
Got a message in chat that sounds cutting out, at least for one person. So let's see if anyone else, let us know if we're losing our sound, because we're not experiencing it on our end. So
Yeah, knock on wood. I actually feel I can remember. We won't say it too loud. Well, that's the only thing that happens on Thursday. Friday. Friday, only one thing happens, and it's the very end of the month. How are we going to end the month of September? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. September's already over. It's hard to believe. And it's the waxing moon entering what? Oh, it's going to be my best friend's powerhouse day. That Sagittarius, fire sign. The moon entering Sagittarius. How do we feel with that?
well, this is Sagittarius is the, you know, experience, exploration, um, wild in that the terms of just, yeah, sure, let's do it and just go. So I feel this is like being emotionally open to new things and exploring new things and being so. This is being emotionally open, not emotionally closed off, which could be very interesting again with all the Libra energy going on here. That could be again misinterpreted.
Mm-hmm. And that the life change, like, oh, this is what you're doing now? Like, oh, that's cool. Like, it's gonna
Yeah, you have the
create.
crossroads, and then you have the Libra stuff. This is interesting.
It is interesting. And for those of you just now joining us, Heather, this is Friday for September 30th, that waxing moon entering Sagittarius. Emotional, wild, adventurous, but after a really crazy and wild week, what are we going to do and how are we going to use that energy? I mean, that's a good question. How do we see that panning out? What predictions do we see? I don't feel a lot happening on Friday. Saturday, though, there's a weird thing happening on Saturday. Only one thing. Then it starts to really amp up for the week. So let's jump into Saturday maybe and see how you feel about this, Matt. Okay, Saturday, October 1st. Doot, doot, doot. You can officially put pumpkins on your porch and not be a crazy Halloween person. You hear me? Wait until the 2nd. They'll be gone. It'll be Christmas by then. Not even kidding. That drives me nuts, by the way. If you have anything to do with planograms in your store, wait. Stop rushing it. Saturday, October 1st. Venus in Libra. We know, we heard that. But it's opposite Jupiter in Aries.
Interesting.
Right? I don't even know how to interpret that because I think feeling two-sided and feeling bold, but then opposing the more, give me more. So how does that work?
This is tension between that again, that diplomatic, romantic relationship type energy, and maybe not wanting to stir things up with having tension with opportunity to be impulsive. So maybe this is people kind of stepping out. I see this almost like, but again, it seems like younger relationship things, but I mean, it could still happen elsewhere that people may be stepping out of their comfort zone and making overtures, and the object of those overtures kind of not wanting to hurt someone's feelings, so kind of giving kind of a mixed. That's where I see kind of the scales that Steph was talking about earlier. I see it as kind of mixed signals, and so to which I forget what movie that was, where there was like it was real bad, and then the person at the end is like, "So there's a chance." And I forget what movie that is, but that's kind of what I see here.
It's so weird because I'm getting a movie reference when you said that. Howard the Duck, which I know in its time was supposed to like rival the Star Wars movement and be like, we're sci-fi, like Back to the Future, and look at, we're gonna do something different and cool. But like there was some weird bestiality themes and some like weird, just what? Howard the Duck would never fly these days.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't
I
even
know what that
remember.
movie is because it was like this whole like negative, like basically the person was totally like told they didn't have, and then they're like, "So you're saying there's a chance?"
Which
That's
one?
this energy.
Dumb and Dumber. But that's not the movie though. There's
No, it's gonna
they're
bug me now.
making
What
fun of
what
that.
movie that is? I
We
just
will.
remember
Someone in
that
the chat will
line.
know it. Somebody'll know it. The it's a weird energy. This is a weird energy. This is how maybe those of us who grew up watching the Disney's Beauty and the Beast felt when suddenly the Beast turned into a weird looking man. It just doesn't sit right. You're just like, I don't know. It's not the same now. Like, mm, weird, 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 weird. That's weird. I kind of feel like I want to say that over and over. And that's the only thing happening for October 1st, the opening of the month. How do we interpret this? What are we thinking? For those of you out there listening, write those predictions down. Do that dissociative writing. What is it? What's it going to be? What do you see?
I see building up. I don't know how much this is going to play, but I see this whole week building, like people behind the scenes are like cooking on what they're going to do and kind of what decisions are going to make. And then this is still some tension between opportunity and what they think. But I don't know what's coming in the next couple of days, but I feel like this is like the tension building towards some decisions that are going to start going down, and then the dominoes will start falling.
The House of Cards. Yes. Things definitely do start to move, and astrologically they do as well. Okay. Sunday. Here we are. It's Sunday, October 2nd, and I can't believe it's going to already be that. And how many things are happening? 1, 2, 3 things are happening just on that day alone. Okay, fine. That's fine. Why not? Right? Okay, the first thing is, for those of you who don't know your moon signs or like when the days are that you're supposed to have super awesome things happen to you, get a hold of Matt, man. Have him break your birth chart down if you haven't already. But the first thing that's going to happen for October 2nd is that we are going to have a first quarter moon, and it's waxing, so it's building in Capricorn, which I know, you've always said you're not a huge moon guy, but you are.
Well, I try to fit it into my model. I don't know how accurate this is with like the pure astrology stuff, but so I view this cycle as this is the Libra cycle. So this is all about in the little journey for the year, kind of balancing things out, and I view it as kind of balancing the inner what you want with your outer relationships and things along those lines. So it's balance, balance, balance. And so, a quarter of the way into this now, I see this as this is kind of like the ego piece of the accomplishment and what. So this is more the I part of it, of kind of like what would I want to accomplish, and but also I guess there's a recognition part to that too. And so it's kind of this mix of how what can I do, how will this make me look, kind of. So yeah, this is kind of I'd say emotional, going from that emotional exploration to emotional kind of where you want to go, what do you want to accomplish. So this is going from just being open to exploring things to actually like developing goals.
And I'm going to smush the 3 things that go out in the astro cheat sheet that I send people, because it said, the third thing is that the moon goes full into Capricorn after that. That's like the next thing to happen on on that evening. And you kind of hit the nail on the head with that. The Libra cycle kind of bringing that balance. I almost see it as pros and cons of like your thoughts of, I was thinking today of like laughing things out, but then knowing when to take things seriously. So like understanding that this is all fun and games until it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And when is that? Well, in essence, it's going to be Sunday, October 2nd. And it's time to get serious. And sometimes it might even be serious time to get funny, which I think is going to be the case for a lot of us. And then for some people, that's going to be almost condescending because it's not going to be where they're at. So how do you see that panning out? What predictions do you see in that space?
I still see this as I feel like this is a cop out, but I still see this as all like building. So this is still, you got the path and you have all these things going, and now this is still kind of, because the moon's still internally focused. So it's it's your emotional inner world. So now it's like, what do I want to accomplish? So the goals are now being set. So I don't know what's coming up next, but I feel like this is all building towards the day where it goes down.
Right. So this was Sunday, first quarter moon. And then the next thing to happen on that Sunday evening, which God bring us a delivery. It is. Mercury finally goes direct in Virgo. Thank the heavens. Thank the heavens. What does that mean? Mercury going direct, and why in the heck am I celebrating?
Well, it's because now we go from communication being misunderstood to at least now communication being clear. Um, you know, people can still misunderstand stuff, but at least, energetically things are heading in the right direction. And, Mercury rules Virgo. So it's kind of in its home sign. So this is all, good, clear communication. And Virgo is so detail oriented, I's dotted, T's crossed, that I feel like the chance of misinterpreting or miscommunicating goes way down on Sunday, which will be good, because if this is all building, all this energy is building towards something, at least whatever gets communicated isn't going to be muddled and messed up.
So says
there'll
you.
be some clarity. There'll be some clarity Sunday night.
Sunday night, clarity.
Maybe on my thing. Maybe it'll be clear of like, here's my nuke and I'm going to use it. I mean, not that it's going to be good, but
Here's my nuke.
the speculation will kind of go away over whatever topic you want to talk about.
This is not funny, Sarah. Why are you making this funny? Here is my hand. It's funny because all you can do is laugh sometimes. And in this case, this is a Sunday evening too. Let's think about that. Like, do things and have been things happening on a Sunday? I thought the White House was closed on Holy Day. Are they?
No.
No.
I feel like at least on the world stage, Europe's driving the bus right now. So
They sure are. Where
maybe
are
Monday
you driving
morning, early Monday, middle of the night, early Monday morning. So
in the middle of the night, like walking in my sleep.
That's right. Virgo is, that's like sixth house, or sixth house. Yeah, sixth house service.
Ooh, so what does that mean when you say that?
Well, the sixth house is about, it can be health, it can be service to others, it can be, so like Steph was thinking, I'm thinking service. Virgo helps people. I see that more as the house than the sign, but that, again, that's just me. I always focus on the analytical, detailed nature of Virgo, specifics.
Hey man, my ulcer and heart murmur appreciates that recognition, because that is real. The overthinking and just a plan B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z, Y, W, X, Y, T. Like forward and backwards and forwards, and maybe even in a second language, just to be sure.
I remember my daughter, this to me, she's not a Virgo, but this highlights Virgo to me. My daughter, when she was little, was getting a tooth pulled. And she asked, I forget if she asked like how far in it is or how far. And they're like, it's not too bad. And she and this is so much this daughter. She grabs the dentist's arm and turns and goes, what is the percentage? That's a Virgo thing.
It is.
Don't tell me a little bit or almost done or anything. I want to know the percent. What percent is it out of my mouth?
Exactly. And that's okay. But for some people, they're like, just, stop worrying about it. And you can't say that to Virgo energy, because that is what we do. It is what we are. It is what we're made of. And so in essence, that's going to be going direct and having all that communication and pros and cons. And when you said sixth house, I thought, oh, okay, service to others. How is that going to pan out? I don't know. I hope it's not like refuge service, having to go drop off food and humanitarian efforts everywhere around the world, because we all really, it might be though. Do you see that kind of going down? Do you have any predictions for that space before we move into Monday?
Just quick responding to a question about readings, so I'm sorry about that. Predictions. I do feel like whatever is building this week will become really clear Sunday night. So whatever we're trying to speculate on right now, Sunday night it'll be like, oh, that's like a couple of weeks ago when we said there was going to be a high profile death, and then I knew the Queen was sick, and we're actually backing our camper into the campsite in Disney, and all of a sudden my phone starts blowing up and I'm like, oh, the Queen must have died. And so
boom,
it's like that thing. It's like whatever we're talking about, so like it's gonna all of a sudden become very clear Sunday night.
the hurricane. HARP
Oh, that's true. It could
things.
be. Oh, I didn't think about the hurricane.
I think that there's going to be a Katrina type issue.
Could be.
I think that there's going to be a levee. I think that there's going to be something. And what's weird is when you say service to others, I think it's going to be like a break in service.
Mm.
Like, I really hope the nurses aren't on strike this week, which all the mental health nurses are on strike in Minnesota right now. So
Oh,
that's great.
good.
Oh, you need help? Just go to crisis. Oh, wait, crisis is in crisis? Okay, crisis is in crisis. Okay, crisis is in crisis. So just hold your crisis. It's a joke. It's a joke, but here we are. And I feel like that is that Virgo, like, now you know, because you didn't know before that FEMA was made up of people that are only Muslim and therefore can't be vaccinated or something. It's going to be something that you're like, what? You didn't know that? It's going to be
I
like,
I feel like it's already supposed to move slow. I just get this gut feel that it's not only is it going to move slow, but it's going to like stall. And so I just see like days and days and days of Florida, which already has a pretty high like water table and stuff, just getting dumped on by rain. And so I think that again, don't criticize. This is not a huge stretch of a prediction, obviously, hurricanes and flooding, but I think there's going to be profound flooding is going to be more than the wind, and I think flooding is going to be the issue. Big flood stuff.
It's one of those like I'm channeling, and I can tell I'm channeling because my energy kind of wants to shift, my mannerisms want to change, and my me. Like I feel this like, well, I think people should be wanting the fact that I was I was watching a congressional like a deliverance really today about some of the clean energy bills and situations going down with the Get Clean by 2023, 2025 and different initiatives because my dad worked for Ford for more than 40 some odd years. And a big part of that industry is greatly affected and yada, yada. And so I have a feeling that like a certain clean energy sector is going to go down and suddenly it's going to be like, oh, you didn't realize to get the wind turbines to the wind turbine location, you drove them in a diesel truck. Well, now you do. It's like that moment I was standing at Aldi's and the girl's like, I don't understand why there's a shortage of eggs and like why it matters that the farmers are on strike. Like, you just go back through that door and go get more food. And I just was like I had a panic move over me. Like, she drives a car.
What is going on with my whole computer just flashed here? So if I crash and go away, I don't know what this has been just a weird day. My internet was wonky all day.
It goes direct on Sunday, guys.
I think you mentioned my dog had a seizure. There's just all kinds of weird. Today was just a shit show today.
Hang in there. And then Mean Green in the chat says, we are all in apparel, but we are also soulmates. And yeah, here we are. We're struggling. We're all struggling in this space together. And hopefully we get an eye opener. The back door is blown off the Aldi's and someone goes, where's all the corn? And they realize that it's in a field somewhere that has to be gathered by a robot or a person by a robot or a robot that has a person attached to it or vice versa. And that they both need fuel. It's just a really fun cycle that I think many of us are going to be awokened. I don't even know what's coming out of my mouth sometimes. Are going to be enlightened too. Brought into the awareness of. Anyway, let's go to Monday. It's all going to become clear on Monday.
Yeah, it'll be.
I'm laughing because I love to watch. And if you're just listening like on Odyssey Radio or a podcast, you don't get to see it. But listen, you can hear the sea. What happens on Monday? It's the only thing. The moon waxing in Capricorn, Uranus and Taurus. Man, there's a lot of earth energy there.
Yep.
What's going on Monday?
So Uranus is kind of rebellious energy, I would say, and Taurus is stable and indulgent. So I've always used this one, and it's been ever since we've done the show. You know, the three outer planets have been in the same sign. So I view this as rebelling by not doing versus, you know, so your rebellious action is from inaction. And so this has synergy with this emotional energy towards accomplishment. So I almost feel that like this is emotionally, I want to accomplish and do something new. So F it. I'm going to send a message that I'm doing something new by, I usually do X. Oh, I ain't doing X today. And there's your message. And so, yeah, I feel, again, as this is all building and people are going on different paths, so almost going all the way back to that Gemini energy of, you know, do I break the rule or not? I'm interpreting this now as a lot of people end up choosing to break the rule. And so they're going to do what they're not going to do what you expect or they're quote unquote supposed to do. I think this is going to play out high profile too. Something that we expect to be very predictable. So speaking very generalities here, I can go with what my gut feel was, but in general, the big surprise on Monday after things get clarified on Sunday is you would expect either a person or entity to act in a certain way and they don't. And that'll be the big curveball on Monday. Is surprise. You thought I'd do this. I'm not.
Broken expectations. That's going to be a powerful thing, almost the shadow work in itself. But you had mentioned kind of going with the chaos, moving with the current. That's going to be a really interesting vibe. And earmuffs for those people who don't like, you know, bad words. There's a lot of hip hop vibes right now that's like the fuck it up. Fuck it up, fuck it up, fuck it up, fuck it up, fuck it up. Like the 1990s hype. Pump up the jam, pump it up, keep your feet up, pump it. Like just kind of that, like, you know, throw your hands in the air and wave around like you just don't care kind of a vibe. I feel like this is really going to move. And for someone asking for the repeat, Friday, September 30th, you have some moon movements. Saturday, October 1st, that's that Venus. Sunday, October 2nd, that's the moon in Capricorn, Mercury going direct. Thank the Lords. Monday, not a whole lot happening, just the one thing, the moon waxing in Capricorn, trine Uranus and Taurus. Broken expectations, guys. Get ready. Get ready. Oh, I thought that this would happen. Nope. Wah. You thought wrong. So whatever it is you thought, thinking again. Think it through. Maybe. I've been actually giggling over the past tense of William Shakespeare is will I was Shakespeare.
Okay.
I don't know why that makes me laugh, but someone told me that recently and I've not been able to unthink it. Instead of will I am, will I was, Shakespeare, Shakespeare or something. I don't know what it was, but it made me laugh. Anyway, guys, it's going to bring us a full week. And it looks like we're going to have plenty of time to take some questions, maybe some readings before we cut short tonight. Because it's a short week, but it's monumental. It's short but monumental. Okay, it's Napoleon. Tuesday, the 4th. Is that really the only thing that's happening? That's the only thing that's happening. It's a waxing moon, so it's a moon movement. A lot of moon movements. Remember, that's feelings, guys. Those feelings. And it is shook stick. Yeah. Well, I was Shooksbird, Shookstick, something like that. It was so funny. I just about laughed. The moon enters Aquarius.
Oh, wow.
Oh wow, that was soft.
Yeah, this is still.
Aquarius. How
I
are we
was
feel?
expecting. I don't know. I was expecting something like I was expecting another Pluto thing to come in, something big. Or Jupiter and Aries like blowing crap up, and so this is still emotional energy. So the moon stuff it changes every 2 days. So these aren't huge, like energetic influences. I mean, the moon's very influential, but I mean this is like more micro than macro. So this is Aquarius is the rebel. It's kind of doing things differently. It's mixing things up. It's outside the box. So This is moving from emotional energy of what do I want to accomplish to now what am I going to change? How am I going to reinvent things? What am I going to do outside the box to help get to my goal? So this all fits into this whole week is I see as, people kind of weighing options and choosing paths. And I feel like people choosing the kind of outside the box rebellious path. So I see a lot of things changing this week. This is going to be a churning kind of week of change, but I don't think things are going to be profoundly resolved this week. I just think there's going to be some uncertainty, some churning, some rebellious energy kind of going on there. It'll get more clear on Sunday, but I still think it's still based on here where we're going to end the week on Tuesday. Things are still kind of in flux here. People are still positioning themselves for what they're going to do.
Well, I'm kind of waiting as I listen to your language there of like, okay, how do you see this kind of panning out for the world in that predictive space? Do you see this being something that is going to be, because I mean, really, Aquarius sometimes gets that this is humanitarian vibes. This is reaching out to help somebody help. I need somebody help. Not just anybody. Like, I don't want just water, not just any water. It's got to be, smart water or whatever. That like this is going to be a humanitarian effort, but not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. But like, what does that even really mean? So what does that mean? What is that going to mean in a macro sense, do you think? I'm asking the right question.
Yeah, I feel it's going to be more than one issue. I feel like by the end of the weekend, you just look for people to act in unexpected ways. So like in our government way, as much as people usually have their own little roles and their own little teams that go, like expect some kind of curveball there where all of a sudden, some group in either direction like crosses the aisles and says, hey, I agree with the enemy team. We will do this or we won't do this. There'll be a curveball there. I still think there's going to be a big curveball in Ukraine with the war stuff. I don't know if you've been following it. There's been some really weird uncertainty in like China. Like, was there like a little coup? So maybe something will get clarified out of that. And
got some things happening in Taiwan.
All of a sudden, China could out of the blue. I'm just giving these examples. I'm not saying these are predictions, but China could come out and say, you know what, Russia, you are too unstable on this. We're going to clamp down. Like there's going to be you expect them to do A. There's going to be some high profile of doing B instead. And then that's just going to fuel like the uncertainty here because it's going to be like, wow, we're like in bizarro land. People aren't doing what they normally do. And so
it's what plants crave. It's one of these.
And that'll route from an investment that'll totally rattle markets. The financial world hates unpredictability, and so if people start acting in ways that you don't expect, or entities start acting in that way, it's going to rattle folks that try to, basically they like predictability. They like, so I say look for some big curveballs this week on people doing very unexpected things.
Just how that's going to pan out for people who I know do join in weekly and are like, hey, how do we feel about, money or stocks or financial gain? I mean, there's some movements in Venus. There's some movements in the breaking of rules, maybe doing things you wouldn't ordinarily do, buying a stock over here, doing this over there, expanding your portfolio. But by Sunday, I would get a little bit more secure. Man, Jacine said something really strange in the chat room. This has come up like 3 or 4 times today. So talk about synchronicity. The Vatican has come up many times today. Just in discussion. Just about like things that they're going to be saying. I know we've had some logo changes in the United States showing some little UAPs, little UFO looking things on our blowing up asteroids, having weird stuff go down that, what?
I can give you a great. So just think this. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but this curveball thing. Think post hurricane in Florida. Biden and DeSantis walking hand in hand through a disaster area, both being very complimentary of each other. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Stuff that you would not, totally out of character, not. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but that's an example of that. It's that kind of thing. You expect them to do this, and they do something totally like the total opposite, and be like, "What the hell's going on with that?"
Who could it be now? I wonder what it's going to be. I'm hearing a lot of music that makes me just have a lot of questions. Usually I have a lot of questions when things are very yin, very earth and water forward. And it seems like in this next week, as I'm looking at it, we actually have a lot of fire and air. It is really earth heavy on Sunday, but that's going to be for our ability to bring information, hopefully some more information to the picture. I don't know what that's going to do for us, but I expect some big shifts and changes and the whole fuck it up vibe on Monday to really pan out. So use that as you will, everyone. If you would like an individual reading, if you would like to expand on something specific, don't forget, we do readings. We would love to do a reading for you, especially before the world ends. Get it in before the world ends, guys. Don't die without a reading. I mean, you might need that in the afterlife or something. I don't know. You probably don't, but you probably do. You never know. You should probably have it and not need it, than need it and not have it. You know what I mean? That's what they say. They said that once. And times like these, right? So there's some specific questions.
I'm just curious now. I'm gonna pick a card, and I'm just thinking, like, if I pick Death or the Tower here,
Don't.
I got it.
Say it isn't so.
The die is cast.
The die is cast. Man, okay. We're gonna be simple cards.
I'm just gonna
the
pull
Three
it
of
up
Hearts.
there. We can see what.
A little sickness.
Oh no, this is boring.
Okay. See, just a page of sword, just another little fight, just a little death, just a little femur wound. You might live, you might not, but we'll bite your legs off.
I take that as though there'll be a new idea that'll come out from this week. So we'll have something new to talk about next week. There's gonna be some a new issue.
Is it gonna be aliens? Is it gonna be a new disease? Aliens, disease, Godzilla, Loch Ness. They've been seeing Nessie.
Hi, Crystal. Hi, Dolly. Happy to have you guys on.
Could be Leviathan. Could be the end of times. Could be Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
Says Heather. Oh, no. Merely a flesh wound. Sorry. I need glasses. I read that as Fleetwood Mac, though. And that might change, too. That might be a flesh wound. Who knows? Jacene says, man, I live for this weekly chat. It is fun. If you're not joining us in the chat room, you should. We have fun there.
Yes.
So, you guys, we have, 6 minutes? I think.
Yeah.
It's about that, telling time. And it's, if you have a special question, an astrological, alchemical. That sounds like a different word if you say it enough times fast. Anyway, if you have one of those kind of questions, let us know, guys. Otherwise, be sure and sign up for notifications. I mean, even if you don't have a question, or if you do, you should do that as well. Fleetwood Mac will never be a whole. I know. Glad to be here. Better late than never. It's true, Dolly. It is better late than never. And sometimes...
I think if I remember right, Dolly and I have some synergy music-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really in that. I don't think, well, I shouldn't speak for her. I don't dislike Fleetwood Mac, but that's not my thing. Not my jam.
Rebel said, man, I missed most of tonight because my internet's being a turd. That's Mercury retrograde.
Yeah, and it's been,
Sunday.
We had that, like I said, today sucked ass.
Today did. And not in a good way either, Okay.
My poor dog, she's fine, but she periodically has seizures, and she had a seizure while she was on the steps and rolled down the steps.
Field guy says, is it Jupiter screwing things up? What is it?
Mercury.
How do you sign up for the full chat? Off Facebook, it only shows 3 people. Rebecca, we use StreamYard, which allows us to use up to 15 different locations.
It's 8, but yeah. So we see the chat from all the different formats. So whichever one you're on, Rebecca, there's 3 people watching on that page. So yeah,
14 over
it kind of goes
here,
to
19 over
it
there.
goes to like 3 of your pages, Sarah, and it goes to like my page and Paranormal Channel on YouTube.
And there'll be time
and
travelers
Paranormal
joining
Channel
us.
on, I guess it's Twitter, whatever. It's like a funky Twitterish thing. So yeah, unfortunately, there isn't a way to integrate those all. Unfortunately,
Right. Just pick a place, get comfortable, and join us. Hopefully, we'll be able to. Wow, I do stutter on occasion.
we are trying to at least kind of share what people say in the chat, so the folks that are on the different pieces don't
Yeah.
miss
We're not
it.
going to leave you hanging. We're not going to leave you hanging. Someone said, man, why don't you just pull a card? We need a guidance card. Can we just pull a card for guidance, Jacine?
Who asked for
Guidance
that?
for all of
Oh,
us.
yeah, Jason. Okay.
And you know, I
Oh,
have my
sometimes we get
mushroom.
really good synergy. Let's do this at the same time again.
Right. Ready?
You guys have missed it. Sometimes we get the same card.
Oh my gosh.
Did you get the card I pulled earlier? Oh, I hate this card. Oh, you had the devil.
You said that you were going to pull. And I said, no, you won't. Okay, so you have the Three of Swords, which I always take as someone's getting sick, and there's a collaboration of tongues.
And I take it as heartbreak. And devil has temptation, so temptation will lead to heartbreak. Don't do it.
Don't do it! But you said the majority of us would. You said the majority of us would break the rules and rebel, especially on Saturday night.
And you're going to be sorry about it.
Don't do it.
So you can take that path, and you're going to get nudged to take down that path, and you're going to be sorry about it.
The one, you know, the one. I'm giving you the eye if you can't feel it, if you hear it. Mary Beth said, well, I'm going to be sick, or I am getting sick. You know, there's a desperate need for connotation in fonts. Well, I am getting sick. I hope not. And I don't claim that energy. Well, that's
so I will take this as,
yeah.
So this is interesting. When I said people are going to act in a uncharacteristic way, if that means not doing what they're supposed to do, which remember that Uranus and Taurus, I think that's going to be the nudge.
Mm-hmm. All right.
If they rebel by actually doing the good thing, it will actually work out well for them. Because the devil's the temptation. So if your choice to act out of character is, you normally do, I'd say something that's kind of good or moral, and now you're going to not do that, you'll regret it.
The Fast Times at Ridgemont High and Mr. Spakowski and Sean Penn's character. I think that's Sean Penn who's playing that guy. Yeah. Who's like, dude, but it's my time. He's like, oh, it's my time. Well, then here, everyone have a pizza. And like this scene all the way to the end where it's prom and he shows up at his house and he spends prom with Mr. Spakowski to finish his grade and actually get it. This is what I'm feeling. I don't know why I'm seeing that, but talking about that Jupiter and Aries, that's like just doing things, being impulsive, breaking the rules, thinking you're getting away with it. People kind of going with, it's going to bite you on prom night. And it might even be a good bite, remember, long way around. But do you want to do that? Do you not want to do that? Really? Mm-hmm. Would someone say the crux of the biscuit is the apostrophe? It's the choice. It's true.
Nobody in the chat knew the movie. I'm trying to remember what that. So you're saying there's a chance? I gotta look.
Not Dumb and Dumber.
It's not Dumb and Dumber. It's gonna bug me. Give the whole speech about how, they're not. Yeah, you're not for me, and then the person's conclusion at the end is like, so you're saying there's a chance.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna figure it out, and if it's not Dumb and Dumber,
I'm gonna be doing searches for that quote once we're off the show.
All right, guys.
Which won't help any of you, but
it'll help
Ace Ventura. I don't think it was Ace Ventura. I don't know.
So
I was not a big. I can't think of his name right now.
I always think it's
That's
Monica.
His name.
High Times at Ridgemont High? No, actually not that. Okay, we are going to figure it out. Post it in the chat room, guys. I'm so thankful for the group we had tonight. We had a lot of really fun people interacting in the chat room. And you guys, if you want a private reading, Matt and I are doing some really cool specials right now. We're doing a collaborative reading where you get the both of us for an entire hour, kind of like this, and we chat about your birth chart and give you divination cards and readings
All
between
about
the two
you.
of us. All about you. want that? Really? I don't know. But we're offering it out there to you. So
Maybe
give
after
that a
maybe
shot.
after Sunday when it looks like the world might end.
Right. If your world didn't end and you want to know more about when it is ending, get a special reading today. And or you can always gift one to another person or to your future self. We do that as well. Or you just want something small, or if you want nothing, you just want to sign up because you don't want to miss the next show because this was just a lot of fun. We get it. We don't want you to miss it either. So sign up, click, follow along, do the subscription dance, do a little thing. Tommy Boy is the only other thing that comes up for me. So you're saying there's a chance? He does say that. Uh, Christopher Farley says
J-
that.
JC wants to know about the reach out for the collaborative. What's the best way? Should they
Oh,
go out?
whichever,
Should she message? Yeah,
paranormalsarah.com or
yeah,
mslozier at Yahoo. We'll put it in the
yeah. One of
chat.
those.
So you're saying there's a chance. 16 candles. Also, it's in 16 candles. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. We
Oh, it
will.
might be 16 candles.
16 candles.
That's my guess.
Okay. Old. You were thinking older than older. Okay, guys. Have a wonderful week. Hang in there like a hair in a biscuit. And if you need an extra hand, reach out and we will do our best to get it to you. And you guys, be sure and bring a friend next time. It's always fun with more. So we'd love to have you here on Odyssey Radio, Paranormal Channel, or anywhere you're hearing us for Astrology and Alchemy. Until next week, guys.
Take care, everyone. Oh, I gotta. Yeah, I keep messing this up. I gotta get to her. Bye.